How do you get to that point where you can actually relax into the flow and
Mm,
lean into, what would I love to do today? What feels
mhm,
life-giving to me in this
mhm,
moment?
mhm,
And really lean in and trust that when maybe you're
mhm.
worried about, at the level of fact, I got to pay my bills, I got to make my
Right.
mortgage, I got to make sure my children stay
Mhm,
alive, right? Keep
mhm.
myself alive.
Right.
How do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because when you grow up in a religious environment, there is that sort of disconnect between here's the real world and here's the spiritual world, and
Mm,
they're tenuously connected, but
mm,
they're two sort of different spheres. And to learn that that's not true, that everything's energy, everything is spirit, and that's the true reality. For me, um, a dedicated morning practice. So I get up at 5 every morning,
mm,
and there's journaling, and there's reading and study, there's meditation and prayer. There's listening to thought leaders that I respect,
mm,
and then maybe a little more journaling. But
mm,
quite honestly, if I didn't have that time
mm,
um, as my as my personal, it is personal development, but
mhm.
it's thought development, it's spiritual connection. It's if I didn't have that, I it's so easy. And I notice the days when I don't do it, I notice that I'm much more sort of plugged into the limitations of the real world, and I
Uh,
feel less connected and less guided and less able to have that divine perspective. I lose that. So
mm,
I have to have that
mhm.
in order to build that spiritual connection and stay in that place. And
Mm.
through the day, opportunities always arise. The printer breaks down. I have a real problem with printers. Right? And the opportunity arises to get into that limiting way of thinking about
Mm,
why do things always go wrong and blah, 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 right? But you have this northern star of that divine connection. And like I mentioned earlier, in writing a personal being statement, where I really dug into, and it wasn't about purpose. I believe that's separate. Being and purpose are separate. So the being
mm,
statement is like, who actually am I in my
mm,
core, in my foundation? What are the attributes
mm,
that I love about myself? And that even if I am not that yet, who do I want to be?
mm.
Like, how do I want to be?
Uh,
Who do I want to be, and who am I? And
mm.
in writing my personal being statement, which isn't, Moses didn't bring it down from the mountains, it's subject to change, right?
Yeah, it evolves
And
as we
it
evolve.
evolves. It
Yeah.
evolves as we evolve. Yes, absolutely. But I have it written on sticky notes, and it's on my makeup mirror. So every morning
Mm,
as I'm getting ready, I'm thinking, what do I have on today? Okay, so based on what I have on today, how do I want to feel? And what
yeah.
do I want to create? And
Yeah.
who am I going to be today?
Mm,
And I reflect on that being statement, and it really gives me those guideposts so that in the moment when things go sideways, I can ask myself, what does wisdom look like in this moment?
mm,
What does joy look like in this moment?
mm.
What does grace look like in this moment? What does leadership look like? I can go back to those attributes in that
Yeah.
statement, and I can go, I don't want to be a
Oh,
leader right
yeah.
now.
I want to be angry.
Yeah, I'd really like to be
I have my
petty.
feelings.
That's right. How about some self-pity? Can I just have a
just
moment?
just give me a second here.
Yeah, but I can go back to that,
Yeah.
and that's my guidepost to say,
Mm,
but this is who you are.
yeah. The
This is
truth.
who you want to be.
Yeah.
So make the choice to show. It's always better when I choose
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Always better.
It's
Hmm.
such a powerful place to be able to come to your life from a place of responsiveness and
Yeah.
choice, right? Knowing that
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day, throughout the week, the year, there is going to be stuff that we would not prefer shows
Right.
up.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to actually choose how we respond to
Yes.
that it's a game changer. It's a game
Oh yeah,
changer. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. When we understand life is not happening to us, it's
Mm-hmm.
happening for us,
It sure
right?
is. Yeah.
Yeah. And that pronoia thing, like the
Yes.
universe is conspiring to shower
Yes.
me with blessings. When you
Yes.
live from that place and you
Yeah.
notice that, it's like, what? Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
Yeah.
knowing that we can consciously choose to shift that whole process, right? The
Hmm.
thinking, feeling, action, result
Right.
with the beliefs and also what we put attention on. So if I'm
Hmm.
spending my day looking for the bits that are going wrong, I'm growing that part of my
Right.
experience. But if I go through my day cherry picking the ways that the universe supported me
Yes.
today or how I showed up like a freaking rock star,
Right.
that part grows.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've already shared with you that uh, um, that for me, the being statement keeps me intentional and
Mm.
reminds me of what I need to know. But in order to keep myself in that high vibe place of gratitude, right?
Mm.
That I've developed a practice where every time I take a sip of water, I offer a gratitude. Woohoo!
We're sipping
And
our water.
we're sipping. You might have heard it. So the so in that moment when I sip the water, I can go, look at how beautiful the leaves are out on the trees. Thank you for the
Mm.
beauty of fall. Just
Yeah.
there's something in that moment that I can
Yeah.
notice that life is beautiful. The world is
Yeah.
beautiful. So many amazing things are happening to me. I'm sitting in my comfy chair in my office, and through the power of technology, I'm having this amazing conversation with this amazing woman that we just sort of, through an introduction, got to know each other, and it's wonderful. And like, how amazing and how beautiful is
Yeah.
life, right? Life is beautiful.
And how amazing it feels to live your life that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
To really consciously slow down and be present for the beauty. And
Absolutely.
just sinking into it. Sinking
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and to see, so I wrote a meditation about a secret forest, and in this forest there that this woman was walking through the forest, and just as she was walking and she began to appreciate the beauty of the forest, suddenly she noticed that there were gems hanging off of all the trees, and there
Mm.
were gems on the ground. And the more gems she noticed, the more gems
Yeah.
came to
Yeah.
light, and before she knew it, it was all gems and all glorious and all beautiful,
Oh.
and she could have as many as she wanted, because she didn't
Yeah.
have to take only as many could fit into her hands. She could literally pull those gems inside of her, and they became
Mm.
part of her. And so I love to do that meditation and to just think about how the abundance and beauty that life
Yeah.
has to offer. And the more I notice, the more comes into
Yeah.
my experience.
The better it
Hmm.
gets, the better it
Yeah,
gets, right? The better,
absolutely.
yeah. And we don't attract what we want. We attract who we
Hmm.
are, and
Hmm.
where we place our focus and our attention.
Yeah.
The universe reads as our intention and brings us more of that. And so I love that meditation. And I
Hmm.
love the idea too of looking at the personal gems that you have within yourself.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
maybe you can only find one right now,
Right.
but cast your loving gaze, your intention, your attention, your focus on that, and it will multiply.